If you're clicking on this video, I don't need to tell you anything. You know Reputation, you know how divisive it is. Regardless of whether it's good or bad, people don't like change. And we're just now getting to the point where I think people are starting to realize that after a while, it gets boring doing the same shit. I mean, I've been making Taylor Swift videos for like a month and I got tired of it. Imagine playing 82 48-minute long basketball games a year for 20 years. And back in 2017, I think Reputation fell into that same trap. Because regardless of any context that makes the Swifties love this album today, regardless of any fire-ass metaphors and cool productional nuances, these dookie heads just see a girl that went from this to this, and they don't like it. But I'm not gonna lie, I've actually listened to this album twice, and I'm kind of in the same boat as the previously mentioned dookie heads. But today's a new day. So in order to prevent my biases against this album from influencing what I say in this video, I'm starting a nice clean document with no words other than in defense of Reputation. Damn. This is hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I feel like ass right now, okay? My hair is way too long. I'm congested, you know, I'm sick in case you couldn't tell. I have chapped lips. I have, you know, that weird crusty nose thing where it looks like you have boogers, but it's really just dried skin. I haven't actually gained weight, but I feel like 20 pounds heavier. Oh, and it's finals week, so yeah, I'm kind of going through it right now. This is what it actually looks like to be in your Reputation era, okay? Taylor makes it out to be this thing where you're wearing dark lipstick and sparkly dresses. But no, this is it, okay? You just feel like ass. In defense of Reputation, the production kinda bangs. Obviously, Reputation is best known for the gothic, emo, bad girl Riri vibe, but aside from the cover, the title, the themes, and the context of the album, the production plays a pretty big role in that aesthetic, I think. There's this thing called a vocoder, which, if you don't know how it works, I don't either, but I'm pretty sure it just takes a vocal recording.
Any promises now can we be? But you can make me dream.
And then turns it into like a weird synthy type voice that you can kind of alter the pitch with on a keyboard.
Any promises now can we be? But you can make me dream.
But I don't know, man. Like, give me a piano and tell me to play C, I could do it. But the second you start busting out words like frequency or fucking modulator, I really don't know much about music, man. I'm not qualified to make these videos. But I will say, once you distinguish that particular sound as a vocoder, you realize just how often she uses it on this album. Like, it's all over the place. Off the top of my head, I know it's at the beginning of Delicate, it's at the beginning of Getaway Car, I think it's in, is it in Ready For It? I don't remember. It's definitely in at least half of the songs. I do like that she kind of goes off the deep end with this album. Some of the songs are like full-on EDM with those wub 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 sounds. So I mean that, and the vocoder, and the dark lipstick, and the sequin dress, and the wet hair. Is that supposed to be water? Or is it like a gel? Do emo girls put gel in their hair? Is that like a thing? Maybe I'll have to ask Machine Gun Kelly. Or if you know, let me know in the comments, please. I'm dying to know. But my point is, she's completely committing to the aesthetic of the album, which in my opinion is a lot better than if she were to just dip her toes into it. And I mean, Taylor's kind of become known for that over the years, but Reputation is definitely the boldest of all of them, so props to her. In defense of Reputation, it should have been a lot worse. Like, it's one thing to go from country music to pop music, and it's another thing to go from country music to this type of pop music. On paper, this album should have been a lot more cringe than it is. That's a poor choice of words, you know? It's not a cringe album, but it's like, there's some cringy moments, that's what I'll say. In defense of Reputation, the songs aren't poorly written. At this point, Taylor's a seasoned songwriter working with professionals, which is something that I feel like ties back to the Ed Sheeran video I made last week. Go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. When it comes to artists as renowned and skilled as these two, even when they have bad songs, they're only like bad in comparison, I feel like. Like, I personally hate Bad Habits, but it's not like a terrible song. And Reputation has some pretty unfortunate competition, but I think that most of the hooks and the bridges are still good. Like, it's still Taylor Swift. I think that the first 5 songs on this album are actually really good. Ready For It is like the perfect opener for an album like this. I think it comes out swinging and it establishes that vibe really early on. Shut up, car. God, why is it so loud? It's finals week. Why are you driving around like that? Endgame is a bit more laid back, but I like that it gave each of the artists a chance to shine with their own verse. And Taylor not coming on until the 3rd verse and starting her verse saying, I hit you like bang. Like, it's kind of tough, man. I Did Something Bad is conceptually kinda basic, but the production makes it fun enough that I like listening to it. You know, I don't like the song, but I like listening to it. Don't Blame Me is also pretty good. I really like the chanty vocals and that slow like drum thing, you know? Feels very like anthemic and kind of fun. And then you have the T-Swizzy track 5, you know? Is there such thing as a bad T-Swizzy track 5? Why did I say T-Swizzy? That sounds so bad. But like I said earlier, I don't really mess with this album, okay? I don't really like it. Me and Reputation, we're not boys, alright? We ain't cool like that. And listen, I know a lot of you feel super protective of Reputation, so here's my proposal. I'll be as fair as I can with all of my criticisms of the album, and you can give your counterpoints in the comments. Cool? Cool. Look What You Made Me Do is insanely cringe, in my opinion, okay? And I don't really know if anyone could ever defend this song as, like, a good song. I could get into detail about how I don't like the whole talk singing thing, or how I think the chorus is extremely repetitive and boring, but that's low-hanging fruit, alright? So to sum up, I'll just say, I think the first 4 songs on this album had a balance of edginess that, like, it was still a little much for me, but I could at least kind of get behind it. I liked the songs at least. But Look What You Made Me Do was just edgy for edgy's sake. And I understand that it's doing it on purpose, it's supposed to be this, like, middle finger to the media or whatever. I just don't like listening to it. Like, what do you want from me? At the end of the day, no context is ever gonna change that. I also think the songs of Reputation have some of her weakest lyricism, but I do think that aspect of the songs is distracted from by how extravagant the production is, which is totally fine, Not all songs have to be poetic. They don't all have to have these fantastic, amazing metaphors and lyrics. But Taylor Swift is someone that we know is capable of incorporating that even into songs that you wouldn't really expect it. So it is a little underwhelming, when you strip away all the fancy production and take a look at what she's actually saying. Not great, man. Gorgeous's chorus is really, really bland. You're so gorgeous. I can't say anything to your face, 'cause look at your face. That's it. That's the hook. Like, it's a fun song. I don't mind it, but it's just like, come on, man, that's boring. But I can overlook all those things, Look What You Made Me Do and Gorgeous are only 2 out of the 15 songs. The largest problem that I have with this album is not the stylistic change compared to the rest of her stuff. It's not the lyrics being that bad. It's not Look What You Made Me Do. Okay, the second largest problem that I have with this album is that after those first 5 songs, the songs that I said I liked, it's kind of a mess. It goes from edgy to meaningful to cute, back to edgy again. And the only reason I think it's such a bad thing for this particular album is after Delicate, you kind of expect this set trajectory that the rest of the album's gonna follow. Like, it's gonna start off as a statement piece and then turn into something more vulnerable by the end. And I'm pretty sure that's what she was going for, but if the whole point of the album is to say that this flashy stuff that she's doing is a facade to sort of hide her more delicate self, I feel like it makes more sense to gradually peel those layers back. But instead, it's like she's going like this. And yeah, New Year's Day ends it on the right note, and I think it's a pretty good song, but I don't really care because everything leading up to it was so hectic that it's like, there's no payoff. I don't really feel anything. But I think that complaint could honestly be fixed with a simple rearranging of the songs. Just remove a few stinkers, move some of the other ones around, and bam, Reputation, Jason's version. Link in the description. I know that's kind of a lame critique to have, but song order is a big deal, man. After listening to this album from front to back, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. It didn't leave me with anything, And I know you could probably say the same thing about an album like 1989, but A, that album was more consistent tonally, which made it a much smoother listen, and B, there's not much of a narrative behind that album, whereas Reputation has all this context behind it, and it's such a status symbol for Taylor Swift amongst the Swifties, that I feel like you need to look for more of a deeper meaning when it comes to something like even the album order, This should feel like a much bigger album than it actually is. But you know what? I bet if you asked any of those Swifties why they like Reputation so much, they'll say, oh, it's because Taylor Swift went into hiding, all that stuff, or like, Kanye West is the devil. But I doubt they would say anything about the actual album, which is totally fine. Like, I respect that. I understand why they like it, It means a lot to Taylor Swift in her career. But as someone who's really just looking for good music, especially for this video, I just wanted to see if this album is actually good. It's kinda mid, I'm not disappointed, but I'm not... What's the appointed? What's the opposite of disappointed?
There's glitter on the floor.
I originally went into this venture hoping to see how well this album holds up without context, because like I said, everyone talks about this, there's so much drama behind it, there's so much that was going on at the time it was released. What happens when you strip that all away? Are these songs good? But what I've come to realize with Taylor Swift is that you can't really do that, because she makes the connections between her music and what's going on in her life so blatantly obvious. And I don't think that's a bad thing, If anything, that's what makes her music stand out, or at least one of the aspects to it that does. I think her being so transparent with that kind of stuff is what kind of makes Swifties so obsessed, Because it's like, they're not falling in love with her music, they're falling in love with everything that her music entails as well, which is basically her entire life. So I think for what this album is, it does its job, but it just works better conceptually, or as a statement, than it does as a collection of songs. And I think at the end of the day, these songs are just not that great. You know, I think Taylor Swift could have written these a lot better. You know that she's capable of it, so I'm gonna give this album a 5. You know, it's not terrible, but I just don't like it. It's not that good. Middle of the pack, completely mid. But I'll be honest, I think it also might be one of those things where I just don't like it a little more because everyone loves it so much. Maybe if everyone thought it was a 6, I would agree that it's a 6, but I'm gonna go with a 5. Here's my top 5 songs. You know, they're cool. I usually include a portion of the video where I say a piece on every single one of the songs, but instead, I'm just gonna say these are the ones that I don't like. These are the ones that are okay, and then these are the ones that I actually do like. Because other than that, I think a lot of these songs hit the same beats, and it'd just be kind of repetitive. To close, I'll say the production on this album was great. You know, sonically, I think it was very well executed. It does everything that I think it should do. But lyrically and structurally, this album is kind of weak. And compared to her other albums, I think this is definitely one of my least favorite because it feels too focused on making a statement, or, you know, doing something to do something, than creating an actual like really good album. But Getaway Car slaps. See what I did there? That's what we in the industry call a compliment sandwich. Anyways, that's about it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment your favorite songs on the album and what you would rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. And also feel free to just debunk everything I said about the album in this video. Be sure to like this video as well. It helps out a lot. I'm not gonna lie, guys, we're kind of running out of Taylor Swift albums and we still have a ways to go, but the concert is soon. And I haven't really expressed this on the channel, but I'm kind of, you know, saving up all this money in hopes that the prices go down when it gets closer to the actual day. But I've been looking at some of the other concerts and I don't see the prices dropping, so I'm gonna set your expectations. There's a chance we're not gonna be able to go, but I'm gonna do everything I can, you know, even if I have to pick up a job working fucking night shifts, you know, for 2 weeks until the concert happens. I'm gonna do it. You know me, we gotta hustle. But if you guys do want to keep helping out, you know, maybe go check out some of the other videos in this series. I worked really hard on them and I think that they're all pretty decent videos for my standards. And if you enjoyed this one, you'll definitely like those too. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week.
Big reputation, big reputation. Oh, you and me, I hit you like reputation precedes me whenever I don't like it when Ed Sheeran raps. Big reputation. Oh, you and me, we got a big reputation.